Hey, welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura and I'm going to do a general message for Virgo, but know that all my readings are shadow readings. So we look at the wounds, we look at the samskaras, we look at the behaviorisms and the habits that are kind of throwing a monkey wrench in your situation, whether that's a situation with your relationship, a situation in life. And no, usually if you have a block in a certain uh, area in life, you will continue to see a certain theme play out within your life, a karmic theme. And so when we experience these karmic themes, if we don't learn them, they can continue to play out within our life every few years. They say like every 12-year cycle, every 14-year cycle is karmic cycle, whatever it is. Everyone, again, has different time periods, and because they have different karmic lessons. So we learn how our own energy, psychologically and emotional energies, which are our own personal energy, manifest within our life experiences, and why certain experiences play out within our life, and how we could actually shape shift our reality to be able to create the life that we want to have. When we have spiritual blocks, it means that we're like blocked from seeing any other realities except for the limited reality that we're living. And usually the limited reality is very disempowering. It keeps us blocked from, whether it's health, or all around emotional fulfillment. It blocks somewhere in our life. It's not blocking every area in our life. And I've seen blocks that are so bad that the energy begins to bleed into other areas of life. You could have a block within finances, and before you know it, you have blocks within your relationships too, and then you have blocks within your self-worth. So a spiritual block, like, again, keeps us blocked from seeing any other realities. And over time, it doesn't just create these undesirable life experiences, it creates sickness, imbalances within the physical body, because when we are continually living disempowered, eventually we begin to live in fear, because we then believe that we need to rely on other people, whether that's for our happiness or our financial abundance, whatever it is. So it's all about learning to heal so you can transcend the limitations of your, like, again, negative realities, because there's many different realities that can play out at one time. It's all about what you choose to do. That's why karma is, again, the result of your actions. So again, we have many different experiences that we could see. If we handled them differently, we could have gotten either a worse outcome or a better outcome. And that's because there's many different realities playing out at one time. Just based on your level of consciousness is how you're designing your life. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, all you need to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the day in your comment bar. The word of the day is going to be stuck. Look at that, stuck. And that's what I was saying that a spiritual block does. It keeps us stuck in a limited version of ourselves, one that, again, is disempowering, one that takes our energy from us. So again, stuck. You're going to know whether I chose you if I wrote the word winner underneath. If I did, then we'll just correspond back on YouTube and we'll figure out a day and time that works best for both of us. And don't worry about trying to find the link. A lot of times when people win, they're like, I can't find the link. Well, it'll just be underneath the comments. So again, I'll post the link the day of your reading. And then this way you'll just go back and click on it, and it'll bring you right into the YouTube channel that I'm going to be recording on. All right. First card out, Rebel. And it came out sideways. So I believe like rebel is someone that wants to go obviously against the grain. That they want, and so a lot of times people want to be perceived more as a rebel than they do a coward, right? No one wants to seem like that they're weak, right? Or that they're fragile, or that they're, especially if it's someone that grew up where they weren't like afraid to, where they were afraid to show their emotions, right? If we, someone that you're dealing with, whether this is you or the person that you're connected to, was taught not to show your feelings. It wasn't uncommon, by the way, to grow up in an environment where you were told that you were not, that it wasn't appropriate to express your feelings. It's just back in the day, men were really told that they shouldn't, show their feelings. They were told, be a big boy, be brave, be smart. Women were also told, but boys really were like stereotyped. So I feel like, again, this, whoever this was, again, they were told not to show their feelings. So they don't trust because they're not 100% honest. Again, rebel comes out sideways. So this is more of a persona than it really is who they are. They want to, give off that perception. Now, scrib, I feel like, again, this is preserving knowledge. So this person's trying to acquire like information on you. I feel like you're in separation with a person that is, again, acting like they don't really care. They're acting like that they're very tough, I almost feel like this person could be even a boss. Like they could run a company, have a business. They could be someone that normally has a lot of authority in places and doesn't show their feelings, doesn't show their emotions, doesn't want to act like they're vulnerable. And so because they don't, they strategize, they stand back, they collect their information, and almost they build that person, like how they perceive that person is, and through, again, what they're perceiving, but that's not really who the person is. It's, again, they're letting their intuition tell them, because they're afraid to be vulnerable, they're afraid to be open. And that happens, again, like we were taught not to trust. And that a lot of times happens in our childhood. We grow up in an imbalanced environment where, again, we could have grown up with great parents that loved us dearly, but they had a hard time, making their own life work. So, again, taught not to trust. I'm not going to trust anyone because I know what I need. I'm going to make sure that I get what I need. And in that, in order for me to live that way, I need to collect all the information that I can about you so I can better navigate the situation. But I'm not going to really be in a regular friendship with you to actually get to know you, which tells me that this person also has an intimacy problem. So mother, and mother was actually came out reversed, but I have to read it upright because I can't read upside down. This is smothering, abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. So there's a sense of, again, where I feel like your person has mother issues, and mother issues where they were continually judged, that on some level your person does feels like there's something wrong with them, and feels like there's something wrong with them because, again, they guilted them a lot. They continually judge this person is the best way that I can explain it. So they have major trust issues and they also have major self-esteem issues, which is why they don't really feel like they can have a conversation. And again, addicted. And so I feel like this person does normally could have addictive personality, but because it's upright, I like it. And I'm going to tell you why, because I feel like you are helping them realize what is, again, not just missing in their life, but about what they do. And it's not so much, again, about the drinking or the smoking weed or whatever, again, the addiction is. It's about why they have an addiction. And why they have an addiction is because they don't trust. And they haven't trust from a really like early age. And it's because they don't really like who they are. And it's mainly because who raised them, their mother here in this, that their mother judges them. So they could get unconditional love from their mother, but their mother was very harsh to them, where they were smothering them, but also like instilling guilt and shame, and because your person wasn't really able to live from their true self. And it could have been that they grew up in a very religious environment. It could have been that, again, they just were a different type of, like, everybody has their own unique personality. And just because you're born into a Christian household or you're born into a certain religious doesn't mean that you have formed that personal relationship with, again, your religion. I mean, that's really what it is when you are religious. It's not that it's like, yeah, you might go to church, you might practice certain things, but when it comes down to it, it's about your faith, how you should believe. So I believe, again, the guilt came from just this person's mother believed that things were supposed to be a certain way, supposed to look a certain way, supposed to, and again, and if it wasn't that, if you didn't do that, if they didn't do that, rather, then they were judged. So there's a sense of feeling as if they're defective, feeling as if there's something wrong, and that's why they have this addictive personality. And the addictive personality is the fact that they rebel, and they rebel because they have trust issues, right? And so again, so when a person has trust issues, they have intimacy issues. And when a person has intimacy issues, they don't, again, form the bond, the connections, the deep, soulful connections that need to happen. It means that this person stalks, this person collects information, this person talks to a lot of other people to find out information, and then like keeps that information as if it's truth instead of really finding out the truth. So let's see from some scars are wounds. So we're going to pull some wounds, because the wounds will tell us what the behavior rhythms are. We'll also pull the triggers, because the triggers will also tell us what the behavior rhythms are. Okay. So stressed out, burned out, disequilibrium. So again, that can happen like if we don't feel good in just about ourselves. Any relationship is going to make us feel imbalanced, because we're up in our head. And we're up in our head, and if we're judging ourselves and we think, again, harshly, because the people that were closest to us at one time judged everything that we did. So we were coming from a place of not feeling strong. We can see why your person would feel imbalanced, why they are imbalanced, why they would be stressed out. Just a relationship alone stresses them out. And possibly because they feel that they need to be someone else in that relationship. And where usually if I don't feel good about who I am in a relationship, I am either going to overgive or undergive. So it's, again, it throws me out of balance. Well, this is what I'm seeing, like with your person, that they have this addictive, energy to, like, as a sense of avoidance too, right? Like if I'm drinking and I'm doing other things, it's a form of escapism, because I don't really feel good about myself. I don't really feel good about this relationship because I don't feel good about myself. And understand it would throw you into being imbalanced too, because you're with someone that has one foot in, one foot out. They won't let you get close. They won't show you again who they truly are. Even though you can feel like you have a strong soulful connection with someone, it doesn't matter, because what they're showing you is they have an intimacy issue. So you will never get your needs met, your emotional needs met, because this person's imbalanced. They're so worried about themselves. They can't be in their body if they don't so imbalanced with themselves. They're up in their head, thinking about what to do next, how to strategize, how to obtain information instead of actually being in the relationship. Caring too much about what it looks like instead of actually what it is. Hopelessness. It's again, like I feel like this is like a victimization card. Like almost like, well, I can't really do anything. Right? Like again, and if the person makes you feel that way, then which obviously if you're connected to someone that is hopeless because they're not going to even try to heal themselves to change their life, they're just going to stay in this disempowered place, and you're attached to them, we could see why you would feel hopeless, because you know you can't change them. You have to change you. If you want this person to change, you'd have to change you in order for them to change. And that is if they have a real soul connection, if there is love there, because the absence of your presence would create. But again, this person's so imbalanced. And it's not like they don't care. Like they do care. They don't trust themselves. They don't like who they are. They want their cake and eat it too. They don't, there's a sense of, again, not feeling strong within themselves. And when we're looking at wounds, like you said, light goes to light. We're a mirror of who and what comes into our life. We get what we need. So not necessarily that you're a mirror or a magnet because you're that person. You might have that wound and you haven't healed it yet. So you might have been raised by a parent that emotionally couldn't give. They didn't feel comfortable being vulnerable. They always, again, it showed this stone face again, where you didn't feel like you could be your true self. You didn't feel that way. And so in that, you felt like, again, hopeless because you never felt connected to this person. You didn't really feel like you influenced this person. So a lot of times if we grow up in a family where there is addiction, we would feel that way. And now to be in a relationship with someone that is, again, displaying the same type of behaviorisms, we can see why. Again, why it's a wound, because it doesn't make us feel good. It's keeping us in a disempowered place of hopelessness, and we're never supposed to stay in a place of feeling hopeless. Okay, impatient. So, and impatient came out again reversed, but I feel like impatient is just like a negative card. It's like impatient, where I feel like your person is going to grow more and more impatient because they wanted you to come to them. But I also feel like you're impatient with them because this, like, you see that they're again doing everything except for coming to you. They're not coming to you. They're again trying to get information, acquire information. It's like, instead of, like, if there were 4 cows in the meadow, instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, what they do is they would count the legs and then divide by, like, again, the 4 to find out how many cows there were. Like, again, they do things so difficult, and that's what happens when you have a block. When you have a spiritual block, which is a samskara, you get in your own way. You get your own way because it's like you overthink because it's, again, instead of taking the easy way out. But the whole thing is that your person doesn't want to seem vulnerable. So they stay in this place of hopelessness in the hopes that you're going to come in and fix it. And hoping that you'll be different, where really it's like, you're like, I'm not going to stay in a place of disempowerment because you want to stay imbalanced. You want to stay in balance because you don't really want to get to know me. But then now they're getting impatient because, again, you can't really control feelings, emotions, and your person's up in their head so much with this, between the I don't feel good about myself. I don't really like the way that things are. I didn't expect you to act like this. I expect it's a lot of mind chatter instead of them coming clean and wanting to really get to know you and right. So they've created so much of it that now they're getting impatient, which is what happens when you know that you're wrong. It's your conscious. Because do feel like a lot of time has transpired that you are actually really even in contact with this person. But this is, again, the energy. So always like to look at the hidden truths, because it's like, let's see what this person really feels down deep inside. Because, again, what we see is like their ego is a lot in their way. So if a person's ego is a lot in their way, they're coming from mainly a passion place. Really, when there's unconditional love, eventually we do surrender our ego. So this person could, again, we don't know yet. That's why we're going to look at the hidden truths of like what they're feeling, what they're going to do. But we can already see that, again, they're waiting kind of on you, hoping that you're going to fix the situation. And again, I kind of feel like their parent like made them believe that they need to act a certain way. And it could be, you need to act superior. You need to like not be so forgiving. You need to not be so soft. You need to, again, not be so emotional. It's, again, made them like had these be a certain way because they had such put a lot of judgments onto them. So I regret lying to you. I feel like, again, they acted like they didn't care. That's lie number one. Number two, I feel like they obviously, in order to keep you hooked, they acted like they were ready, I should say, because I do feel like this person always wanted to have a relationship with you, but I feel like they always made it like were ready to be in a relationship with you. I don't feel like this person was always ready to be in a relationship with you. I don't feel that they had a lot of other people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they could have went through a lot of relationships, that they had a lot of baggage that they never really healed from. And then they met you, and then they thought that were ready. And this is the way that they decided to approach the relationship, because they hadn't been in a relationship for a long time. And they were like, well, from being in relationships, I've learned to be the person that is in control, that I'm the person that acts like a rebel, because when I act like a rebel, like, you're going to give me more, because like you're going to want to get me to be different. But really, I don't feel good about myself. I have avoidant issues. And again, that's all about recognizing the addictive behavior. And addictive behavior is avoidance. It is, again, also living from an ego and a self-indulgent way, and trying to get your needs met emotionally through, again, outside things. So again, this relationship has made them look at themselves, but it's, again, they're still and we know why, because of the mother. But that doesn't mean that their ego isn't been bothered by this whole thing, and that they're not thinking about what they did. They're starting to be, because there is a connection, they do have a conscience. I'm becoming a better person. Yeah, because they walked away. So I feel as if this person is not only becoming aware of how they acted and changing their behavior, but I do feel like they're going to come back to you. This is what I'm feeling. I don't know why. Again, we'll see what the cards say, but I feel like I'm starting to understand our connection, because it's a soul's connection. So what this story is really saying is, you're connected to a person that was not raised in an environment that they could just be themselves. They were continually judged, continually told that they needed to be a certain way. And because of that, they don't like commitment. They tend to rebel against it. They want everything their way. They don't feel good about themselves because they can't really have a deep, committed, intimate relationship. They have intimacy issues. So instead of getting to know you and taking the time to get to know you, they lied. They acted like they didn't care, and they sat back and they collected information on you because they didn't want to seem vulnerable. And then with that information, they intuitively try to figure out what move to make, to again, what important. And what they're realizing is that because there is a spiritual connection, there is love, but they're also fighting their ego. This person's all over the place. They really are imbalanced with their, feelings. Like one second they feel one way, and the next second they feel another. Again, disequilibrium is stressed out pressure, but it's pressure from the mind. And it's because, again, there's a cognitive dissonance. I like you, I want to get to know you, but like I have to hold back. I have to be this person. So it's, again, they're acting like they're hopeless, but their thing is, I want you to give me. But I feel like that keeps you in a place of feeling hopeless, being like, oh, well, I don't want to like be in a relationship with someone that doesn't want to help themselves. However, even with all this manipulation, we can still feel that there's a spiritual connection, because again, that you can't destroy it. Now, understand, a lot of times with soul relationships that people need healing, there's going to be a lot of wounds. The person gets in their own way, but at the end of the day, even with all the wounds and the behaviorisms and even getting into their own way, when you still feel that soul connection and you still have feelings for that person, you begin to realize that it's a different type of connection. And what this connection really is teaching is unconditional love, because your person doesn't have it for themselves. They don't like who they are, so they're assuming that no one will. However, there's a spiritual connection where they're like, I'm starting to understand, and it's actually making me a better person, because it's raising their vibration, which is what unconditional love does. And realizing that even though I have judgments on me, on how I perceive me, that you don't see me that way. So it's very actually therapeutic and cathartic for your person, because they're like, you really do have feelings. I've never experienced like this type of connection before. Possibly because I feel like they've always been in karmic relationships that looked good on paper, but didn't treat them well because it was lacking the intimacy, which is the depth, which means that they always came just from a passionate perception. And after a certain amount of time, it's not that passion, but like you need to keep that fire burning, right? It's like, if we're just have the fire because we're attracted and we still don't like ourselves, well, eventually that fire burns out. But if we have a fire with someone that shows us a different way of being, and then they're not going to tolerate anything, and then we do work on ourselves, we actually wind up liking them more because of the work that we've done on ourselves, because we see a better life. We see that we can actually have a better life. However, it does make the person have to do work on themselves, which inevitably is what soul relationships are about, right? One more. You speak to me through music. So even if you're separated from them, they can't seem to get you out of their mind. I want to put, all fairness, I'm going to put these cards back because I'm going to use the same deck to see what your hidden truths are about them. Want to see what your hidden truths are about them. Shuffle. All right, let's see. What are your hidden truths? Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. I can't stop thinking about you. We need to let each other go. I wish I could share my good news with you. So I feel like this is a soul's connection. Like there's part of you that's like, I have a lot of passion for you. I know that this is a soul's connection that we have. However, I don't trust you. I don't trust you because, again, you're imbalanced and everything that you've done to me. And even though I have this spiritual connection with you, there's a sense of being that, again, that this person has trust issues, but they caused you to have trust issues with them. So I feel like you're all over the place. There's a part of you that's like, one second I want to be with this person, the next second I don't. The next second you're like, try and rationalize, and that's the whole thing. You won't be able to rationalize when it's a spiritual connection and when it's love. It doesn't make sense. So here there really is a spiritual connection. And if this person was balanced, it could be a great relationship. However, this person is not balanced, and this is what you know. Though we can't deny the passion, we can't deny the attraction, we can't deny the connection. You don't know how hard it was to let you go. And that's what I feel like. You're like, it's not something that you wanted to do. It's not something that you want to do. It's something that you feel like you have to do because this person needs a lot of healing. They have major mommy issues from the beginning of time, and mommy issues that create them, that make them not be able to have intimacy in a way that would be fulfilling for you. You would always feel like you were in a one-sided relationship, and you don't want that. So what is the healing advice? I know if there's any healing advice, because when we're dealing with this, it's like, oh, I like this person, so how am I supposed to get over it? Well, it doesn't mean that you still have unconditional love for this person, and that will never break, even if you guys are not together. Sometimes it's this person's karma, the fact that they need to win you back. Even though it seems like a no-brainer, it's like you still have feelings. So I feel like if this person came into your life and really proved to you, they could, because you didn't want to let them go. It's that they refused to fix what they needed to fix. Serenity. Through love, release, and inner work, I know peace. I have a gentle view of life and welcome every step with confidence. I remain brave in the face of fear and have the wisdom to let the universe do its work. So it's, again, like you knew what the answer was. It was, again, to keep that serenity within yourself. It's that you knew, again, that you had to be true to yourself. The answer really is through love. Like you do love this person and you release them because you know that they're not really capable of giving you the relationship that you want. And what was the most important was your serenity. And what is serenity? Your peace of mind. You make me not trust you because you have trust issues. You have trust issues because you need to do mommy wound healing. You need to heal your wounds, and not just what happened in inner child, but every single mommy wound that plays out in your life, because which is happening in this person's life is they can't attach, they can't connect on a deep level because they have trust issues, and they avoid by drinking with their addictive behavior. But again, and rebel, but don't make no bones about it that this person does have feelings. There is a spiritual connection, but with this energy right here, and what it is it made them realize, and they're in the process of healing it. However, like I said, they didn't do that without creating problems. They already created the problems. So your place of the spiritual message really for you, Virgo, is to hold that place of serenity, keep your peace of mind. That's the most important. And again, harmony. I open myself to the divine being within me. I'm an image of God. Thus, I have the power to bring light into my life. I turn the darkness in me into something beautiful. In the absence of resentment, anger, or doubt, I find harmony. So it's about like which is a tough like answer for healing, right? It's like when we want to feel better. However, your peace of mind is what creates balance. The harmony in the situation is we could have loved each other and really been like again, and I still love you unconditionally, and I accept you for who you are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be with you. It's like I find the harmony in the situation is the balance in the situation, because if I find balance and you evolve because you're doing work on yourself, that doesn't necessarily mean that I won't accept you later on in life. If I find the harmony and see the good in the relationship, I was not just a catalyst to help you heal, but it means that again, like you could actually, we could actually be together because there is this still unconditional love there. It's just not the time, is what I'm feeling. That's really like the spiritual answer is like we learn unconditional love through these very difficult relationships where you're like, I feel like you were supposed to be my person. You had all the ingredients, everything said this, but your own wound prevented you. However, they prevented this person and they created problems within, you know, the relationship with you, because now you have trust issues. This person would have to work really hard to get back into your life. And I feel like they would. But are they ready to do that now? No, they're in the process of like, you've changed me, you know, to the point that I'm doing work. I do have feelings for you. There really is a soul connection, but now is not the time. The harmony for both is to come to a place of surrender and realize that not all soulmates are supposed to be romantic. That some definitely come into your life to change your perception, to heal, and to make you realize for you, Virgo, was this really what you would have wanted in a relationship? No, because they weren't able to give because of their own wounds. You had to make a judgment call. There needed to be a mind over heart decision, and that's not easy, but that's how you find your serenity. And I feel like you're someone that normally would choose your heart over your head, and it would create the imbalance. You didn't do that here. And so again, intuition, your intuition, this was all about trusting yourself. Again, it said it again, the scrib collected the information. That's what you saw that this person was doing, and not really creating the intimacy with you because again of their own fear, their own baggage. So it's again listening to your intuition, because that and acting on it and seeing a good result gives you internal strength, helps you learn how to trust yourself. That's huge. And then focus. It's again to so that once you got rid of this person or put this person in a different category where you realize, well, you're not really gonna, we're not going to be a good team in the way like where we could date. However, I can put all my focus now on like my own business, where I want to go, what I want to do to create the life that I want to have. And really, that's really how Spirit's saying that's how you deal with it. Because you, again, not crying over it, not making this person feel bad, not doing any of that, you become again more again about being the catalyst to change for this person because of how you're handling it. You're not giving them guilt. You're not making them feel bad. It's not the right time. I release you. I still have feelings for you because we'll never break that bond. However, I'm choosing a mind over heart decision because my focus needs to be on my life. And in the act of giving to myself, I heal myself and I keep my serenity. It's all about having peace of mind so I can manifest the life that I want because I'm keeping the focus on what's important to me. And unfortunately, I have feelings for you, but you're not capable of until you heal yourself. And that door may not never like again, we may always have a connection. However, you may never choose to open up that door again. I don't know. The story doesn't say, but it says the love is still there, but the choice is made. And the choice is made due to having to love yourself. So it was more of a spiritual test for you, Virgo, where you were confronted with, should I try and make this relationship work? Because I do love this person, but in that I'll sacrifice myself, or should I, choose me? And what I see is you chose you, which is always the right way to play it. So I'm going to leave it there, Virgo. If you resonated with this, let me know. Give me a like, comment. And again, I'll see you guys all soon. Bye.